Hi everyone, we are Pol-News. Have you ever been reading a source and been thinking, this feels like it's trying to spread an agenda to me? Well, you were probably right. A lot of companies that write news articles, a lot of sources have an agenda that they're trying to spread, whether it be a liberal agenda or a conservative agenda. When you read a source, it might try to sway your opinion in a certain way, and if you're just trying to get caught up on current news, you might not want that. That's why we built Pol-News. Pol-News is a full-stack web application that's built with a Python backend that uses fast API and a React frontend. It uses the InSforge AI gateway to call a Claude sonnet model that will do the bias analyses. When you hit start exploring, it pulls you to the main page. The main page is updated every 12 hours, and it gives you a bunch of sources. Beneath every single source, you have the different percentages. We decided to do percentages over just telling you that a source is independent left or right, because the percentages give you a much bigger story about the biases of the source rather than just telling you what the source is. This lets the users have full control over the media that they're trying to ingest. Whether consumers trying to get more information on the opposite perspective, trying to read perspectives that are more towards their interests or ideals, or they just want completely unbiased, this lets them get all of those information right before they even have to click on the source. When you click on the source, it redirects you to the full text and lets you read about the whole thing. And because you already know the biases, you have an idea of how they might talk about the issue beforehand. And that lets you have a better perspective of the issues that are talked about. We also implemented a search bar. Sometimes the previous results might not cover the topic that you're interested in. By implementing a search bar, we let the consumers figure out what they want to implement, what they want to search, and it actively searches articles about it. It does the same thing where it tells you the source and the different biases of the perspective. And then if you want to just go back, all the homepage data is stored in a InSforge database so that we can speed up how fast the page takes to boot. Because as you saw, searching takes a little bit because it's encompassing new data, but the database information instantly reloads. Every 12 hours it's refreshed so that consumers are only reading the most up-to-date information. Of course, when talking about politics, ethics are really important. That's why we tried to make sure that our website was as unbiased as possible. We wanted to make sure that rather than just trying to spread an agenda, we're just giving the users the information they need to learn more about politics. This is meant to help voters figure out their perspective if they don't have one, maybe shift their perspective if they're trying to shift it or learn more about another side, or just do anything that makes them learn more about politics. One thing we were thinking about implementing after this hackathon is a sorting method. Sometimes a lot of sources get published at the same time because something huge happens in the news that day. Because of that, different sources cover that same article and it shows up a bunch of time. One of these is Italy's justice referendum. We want to add a sorting algorithm that lets us group those identical sources, but also groups sources by topics. As you saw, we can search for things like economy. Grouping the sources into things like economy, climate, stuff like that, allows the user to just look through and see which type of article do I want to read. Thank you for watching.